airlines food during the golden age of air travel. Welcome. Do you remember ever dream of air travel where a delicious, full-course meal was part of the experience, not an overpriced afterthought? Believe it or not, that was the reality during the golden age of flying. Today, we'll journey back to the 1950s and recreate a luxurious United Airlines meal, complete with pot roast, decadent potatoes, and a surprisingly delightful salad. Get ready to discover the era when airlines competed on culinary excellence, not just ticket prices. It's a fascinating and tasty trip through aviation history. United Airlines Cookbook. Let's take a trip back in time and explore the delectable world of 1950s airline dining through the lens of United Airlines' very own cookbook. Favorite recipes of mainliner chefs. Imagine settling into your plush seat, not just for a flight, but for a culinary experience curated by talented chefs like Emil Salman, Mark Gruer, and Edward Gerber. We'll recreate a complete three-course meal, starting with Chef Salman's New York flight kitchen masterpiece, a hearty beef pot roast brimming with an array of tantalizing ingredients. This dish promises to be a symphony of flavors, reflecting the era's focus on robust and satisfying cuisine. Next, we'll lighten things up with Chef Gruer's Delmonico potatoes, a Honolulu kitchen specialty. These potatoes likely offer a touch of elegance and simplicity, showcasing the culinary influences of the Pacific. And finally, to complete our mid-air feast, we'll indulge in Chef Gerber's Heavenly Delight Salad, a creation from the Washington, D.C. flight kitchen. The name itself suggests a refreshing and light dish, perhaps incorporating seasonal ingredients in a delicate dressing. This culinary adventure highlights the dedication that went into creating memorable meals for air travelers during the golden age of flight, even before the convenience of modern galley kitchens, where culinary magic was meticulously crafted before takeoff, ensuring that every passenger enjoyed a taste of luxury in the skies. Pot roast recipe. Chef Salman's pot roast is a culinary journey that transports us back to the 1950s, a time when airline meals were a symbol of elegance and sophistication. This dish, originating from United Airlines' New York flight kitchen, is a testament to the dedication of these culinary pioneers. Our adventure begins with a beautiful cut of beef chuck or round, generously seasoned with salt and pepper, then dredged in flour for a rich, flavorful crust. The magic unfolds in a large pot where melted butter embraces the meat and marrow bones, creating a symphony of aromas as the meat sears to a perfect golden brown. Next, we introduce a medley of aromatic vegetables, onion, celery, and carrots, joined by the fragrant notes of parsley, cloves, bay leaves, and peppercorns. This ensemble simmers for 15 minutes, allowing the flavors to meld and deepen. Then, the heart of the dish is revealed, a rich blend of garlic, beef stock, tomato paste, and a splash of red wine. This luscious mixture transforms the pot into a culinary haven where the meat will slowly braise to tender perfection. With a gentle simmer and a tightly sealed lid, the pot roast embarks on a 2-hour transformation until the meat is practically falling apart. This dish, a labor of love, embodies the essence of classic comfort food, elevated to an art form by Chef Salman's expertise. It's a reminder that even in the skies, passengers of the past were treated to meals that tantalize the taste buds and warm the soul. Delmonico potatoes recipe. As we continue our culinary journey through United Airlines' 1954 cookbook, we arrive at a dish that embodies both simplicity and elegance. Chef Mark Gruer's Delmonico potatoes, a specialty from the Honolulu flight kitchen. This recipe, with its minimal ingredients, highlights the beauty of fresh produce and creamy textures. We begin with 8 medium potatoes, peeled and chopped, their earthy essence mingling with the vibrant red of half a cup of chopped pimentos. A touch of richness is introduced through 2 cups of half and half, seasoned delicately with salt and pepper. This creamy base is gently heated until it reaches a simmer, then poured over the potatoes, ensuring each morsel is enveloped in its embrace. The dish then takes a leisurely bath in a 375-degree Fahrenheit, 190 Celsius oven for an hour and a half, allowing the potatoes to soften and absorb the flavors of the half and half. This slow cooking process creates a comforting warmth, a testament to the care taken in preparing airline meals during this era. The grand finale involves a generous sprinkle of Parmesan cheese, blanketing the potatoes in a golden crust. A quick return to the oven, now at a slightly higher temperature of 400 degrees, melts the cheese to perfection, creating a symphony of textures and flavors. Chef Gruer's Delmonico potatoes are a testament to the idea that simple ingredients, when treated with respect and care, can result in a dish that is both comforting and refined. It's a culinary interlude that would have delighted passengers, offering a taste of Honolulu's culinary charm thousands of feet above the ground. History of airline food. Before we embark on recreating the Heavenly Delight salad, a dish that pushes the boundaries of traditional salad definitions, let's take a moment to explore the fascinating history of airline food. To delve into this captivating subject, I'll be drawing upon insights from Richard Foss's remarkable book, Food in the Air and Space, a comprehensive exploration of culinary experiences beyond the confines of Earth. While Foss's work takes us all the way back to the 18th century and the daring culinary adventures aboard hot air balloons, our journey begins in the aftermath of World War I, a pivotal moment for commercial aviation. On October 11, 1919, a Handley Page flight from Paris to London marked a culinary milestone, the serving of the first in-flight meal on a commercial airline. Passengers were presented with pre-packaged lunchboxes containing a simple sandwich and a piece of fruit. Interestingly, much like some budget airlines today, this meal was not included in the ticket price. Passengers had to pay an extra 3 shillings for the privilege of enjoying this cold repast. The trend of cold in-flight meals continued for the following decade. For instance, Western Air Express, which operated flights between Los Angeles and San Francisco, offered cold fried chicken, potato salad, and sandwiches catered by the iconic Los Angeles eatery Pig and Whistle. These early examples reveal the challenges and limitations faced by airlines in providing in-flight meals, yet they also laid the groundwork for the evolution of airline cuisine, which would undergo a dramatic transformation in the decades to come. The first hot meals and Clipper flight kitchens. While cold meals dominated the early days of in-flight dining, a culinary revolution was brewing. In 1928, Lufthansa raised the bar by introducing the first hot in-flight meal on their Berlin to Paris route. This innovation involved preparing the food on the ground and keeping it warm in insulated containers, demonstrating a growing ambition to provide passengers with a more refined dining experience. However, maintaining the desired temperature, especially on longer flights, posed a significant challenge. Insulated containers could only do so much, and the prospect of heating food on board required ovens, which were impractical for most aircraft at the time. Enter the flying boats of the 1930s, specifically Pan Am's iconic Clippers. These spacious aircraft allowed for the installation of galleys, enabling not only reheating, but actual cooking in the air. Pan Am even incorporated dedicated dining rooms with tables and crisp white tablecloths, transforming air travel into a fine dining affair. United Airlines soon followed suit, integrating kitchens into their planes and offering passengers hot fried chicken and freshly scrambled eggs, a departure from the cold meals of the past. This marked the beginning of United's commitment to high-quality in-flight cuisine. A pivotal moment in United's culinary journey came in 1936 with the establishment of their first dedicated flight kitchen in Oakland, California. Here, they assembled a team of top chefs to craft menus that rivaled those of prestigious restaurants on the ground, while still being adaptable to the unique demands of in-flight service. This approach, known as mainliner cuisine, allowed for the creation of far more elaborate and flavorful dishes, as the bulk of the preparation could be done on the ground. The recipes we're exploring today are a testament to this culinary innovation. United's pioneering efforts inspired other airlines to embrace dedicated flight kitchens, leading to a golden age of in-flight dining. Menus from this era showcased the remarkable variety and sophistication of the meals offered, featuring delicacies like man and veal with Russian dressing, Boston cream pie, and even themed meals like the Irish-inspired feast served on St. Patrick's Day in 1940. European airlines also embraced fine dining in the skies, with offerings ranging from lobster and foie gras to the elegant peach melba, Maxon whirlwind oven, and sky plates. As with many technological advancements, the next significant leap in airline food preparation emerged from the crucible of military innovation during World War II. Enter William Maxon and his company, which developed several groundbreaking inventions for the U.S. military. While airlines never seemed to adopt the Maxon multiple gun mount, one of his creations would revolutionize in-flight dining: the Maxon whirlwind oven. This ingenious device employed circulating air to heat food more evenly and rapidly, essentially becoming the precursor to the modern convection oven. The whirlwind oven was specifically designed to accommodate meals served on Maxon sky plates, which were used by the Navy and Army during and after the war. These pre-portioned meals offered a convenient and efficient way to provide hot food to troops in the air. Following the war, Pan American Airlines recognized the potential of Maxon's innovation and integrated the whirlwind ovens into many of their commercial aircraft. This allowed them to either eliminate the need for full-fledged kitchens on board or to significantly speed up the heating process for pre-prepared meals. The adoption of these ovens marked a major step forward in simplifying and streamlining in-flight food service. Stewardesses and World War II not only spurred technological advancements in airline food, but also brought about significant changes in the role of flight attendants. While female flight attendants, or stewardesses as they were then known, had existed since 1930, the war-induced shortage of men led to their becoming the standard for in-flight service, a trend that persisted for decades. In the post-war era, many airlines capitalized on the presence of female stewardesses as a marketing tool, particularly targeting their predominantly male clientele. Advertisements emphasized the attractiveness and attentiveness of these women, portraying them as the epitome of service and hospitality. This focus on image and gender roles shaped the training and expectations placed upon stewardesses. Initially, in the 1930s and early 1940s, aspiring flight attendants were required to be registered nurses, highlighting the importance of medical expertise in the air. However, by the 1950s, airlines began providing their own comprehensive training programs, as exemplified by a United Airlines advertisement featuring Sherry Woodruff. This ad emphasized the transformation of a young woman with no prior service experience into a highly skilled stewardess capable of serving gourmet meals, comforting nervous passengers, and even providing first aid. Interestingly, these advertisements often subtly positioned stewardess training as a pathway to becoming an ideal housewife. They highlighted skills like preparing meals, caring for children, and maintaining a polished appearance. Some airlines even went so far as to suggest that their flights were prime locations for finding a husband. A 1967 United Airlines ad playfully referred to a long-serving stewardess as an old maid because she hadn't yet married, highlighting the expectation that stewardesses would eventually leave their jobs for marriage. United Airlines, for instance, had a policy of firing stewardesses upon marriage and enforced a mandatory retirement age of 30. These discriminatory practices were finally deemed illegal in 1971. Themed flights and luxury. During the 1950s and 60s, Airlines cleverly combined the allure of their stewardesses with themed in-flight meals to create unique and enticing travel experiences. These themed flights transported passengers to different cultures and eras without ever leaving their seats. TWA, for instance, introduced foreign accent flights, immersing passengers in Italian, French, Old English, or Manhattan penthouse atmospheres. Stewardesses donned costumes reflecting the chosen theme, such as wench attire for the English flights, while music from the corresponding country filled the cabin. And of course, the cuisine played a central role, featuring dishes inspired by the destination or era. Northwest Airlines took themed flights to new heights with their Fujiyama room concept, launched in 1955. These specially designed cabins featured kitschy Asian decor, creating an exotic ambiance. Passengers were treated to culinary delights like shrimp, cheese, and fruit served out of a pineapple adorned with tiny umbrellas. A playful fusion of Japanese and tiki culture that, while perhaps not entirely authentic, certainly captured the spirit of the time. Western Airlines offered a different kind of themed experience with their Hunt breakfast flights, starting in 1957. Inspired by the tradition of enjoying breakfast while on a hunting expedition, these flights featured a menu of hearty, breakfast-themed dishes. To further enhance the atmosphere, passengers were serenaded by the sounds of barking dogs and bugle calls, evoking the excitement of the hunt. These themed flights demonstrate the creativity and ingenuity of airlines in the mid-20th century. United Airlines executive flights. Perhaps the most striking example of the intertwined themes of pretty stewardesses and quality cuisine in the golden age of air travel was United Airlines' executive flight. These exclusive flights, operating between 1953 and 1970, catered solely to male passengers, excluding women from purchasing tickets. Targeting the elite businessmen of New York and Chicago, the executive flights departed daily at 5:00 p.m., offering a unique and, by today's standards, controversial experience. A contemporary advertisement encapsulates the essence of these flights. United Airlines invites you to fly the Chicago Executive, a club in the sky for men only. You'll enjoy the informal, club-like atmosphere, smoke your pipe or cigar if you wish, and make yourself more comfortable by using the pair of slippers provided. Enjoy congenial company in the lounge. A full-course steak dinner is table-served by the two stewardesses aboard. It's a delicious meal prepared by experienced continental chefs. This ad highlights the exclusive and luxurious nature of the executive flights, emphasizing the freedom and comfort afforded to male passengers. The presence of two stewardesses dedicated to serving a full-course steak dinner prepared by renowned chefs further underscores the premium experience offered on these flights. However, it's important to acknowledge the discriminatory nature of these flights, which excluded women based solely on their gender. The executive flight stands as a stark reminder of the societal norms and biases prevalent during that era. Luxury in-flight service seating became more comfortable with plush cushions and the introduction of fully reclining seats on longer flights. Some airlines even offered berths with lay-down beds, akin to those found on luxury trains or today's high-end airlines. In-flight dining transformed into a spectacle, with airlines competing to provide the most extravagant and memorable experiences. TWA, for example, introduced a service where a trolley laden with a whole roast beef was wheeled down the aisle. Passengers could select their desired cut, which would then be carved and served with jus, right at their seats. Other airlines showcased chilled seafood trolleys, piled high with lobster and crab legs, fresh fruit trays, vibrant salads, and elaborate charcuterie boards became commonplace. And to top it all off, dessert carts made their appearance, offering made-to-order sundaes, a delightful treat at 30,000 feet. One of the most impressive in-flight dining displays came from Scandinavian Airlines, which debuted the Scandinavian country-style buffet in the late 1960s. This involved carving a whole ham right in the aisle, creating a theatrical and enticing experience for passengers. These examples illustrate the dedication of airlines to providing passengers with not just sustenance, but a truly luxurious and unforgettable dining experience. The elaborate presentations, the focus on fresh and high-quality ingredients, and the personalized service transformed air travel into a culinary adventure. The decline of airline food. While the presentation and extravagance of airline food reached new heights in the mid-20th century, the actual flavor and quality often didn't quite match the spectacle. Passengers were essentially served fancy leftovers, which inevitably lost some of their original freshness and flavor. Moreover, our perception of taste changes at high altitudes. The dry cabin air affects our sense of smell, which in turn diminishes our ability to taste food as intensely as we would on the ground. To compensate, airlines often resorted to adding excessive amounts of salt and sugar to their recipes, attempting to enhance the flavor profile. However, a more significant disruption to in-flight dining was on the horizon: the advent of jet travel. Jets drastically reduced flight times compared to their propeller-driven predecessors, rendering the leisurely, multi-course meals once a staple even on domestic flights impractical. While first-class passengers might still have enjoyed a more elaborate dining experience, economy class saw a noticeable decline in both the quality and complexity of meals. Shorter flight times also necessitated more efficient service, leading to the replacement of glassware and china with disposable plastic trays and utensils. Unlike their reusable counterparts, plasticware could be quickly discarded, saving valuable time during cleanup. Interestingly, a 1954 publication already depicts passengers eating from plastic trays, suggesting that this transition was gradual but ultimately inevitable. These changes contributed to the growing perception of airline food as bland and unappetizing. The Great Sandwich War. The stark contrast between the dining experiences in economy and first class during the jet age is perhaps best illustrated by the infamous Great Sandwich War of 1958. This culinary conflict arose when the International Air Transport Association, IATA, responsible for standardizing airline regulations worldwide, decided to allow the sale of economy class tickets on transatlantic flights. To make these tickets more affordable, airlines had to cut costs, and one of the casualties was hot meals. Economy passengers were limited to a simple sandwich. However, a disagreement emerged over what constituted a sandwich. American Airlines, like Pan American Airlines, adhered to a basic definition of meat between slices of bread. European Airlines, on the other hand, took a more liberal approach, creating elaborate, open-faced sandwiches that resembled full meals. These creations might include 5 slices of ox tongue, a lettuce heart, asparagus, and sliced carrots on a slice of bread, or 5 slices of liver pâté, fried grist bacon, mushrooms, and tomato on a slice of bread. Essentially, they were serving entire meals disguised as sandwiches. Pan Am, feeling that the European airlines were gaining an unfair advantage, protested to the IATA. In response, the association had to establish a formal definition of a sandwich for the purposes of economy class meals. This definition stipulated that a sandwich must be cold, primarily composed of bread or a similar base, unadorned, self-contained, and must not include luxury ingredients like caviar oysters, or lobster. Essentially, the IATA's definition aimed to ensure that economy class passengers receive the most basic and cost-effective meal possible, a principle that unfortunately continues to resonate with some airlines today. The Concorde and airline deregulation. Even as airline food in economy class declined, first-class passengers continued to enjoy lavish meals and luxurious service. And for those with truly deep pockets, the supersonic Concorde, launched in 1969, offered the ultimate in air travel extravagance. This technological marvel, operated primarily by British Airways and Air France, whisked passengers between Western Europe and the east coast of the US at twice the speed of sound, completing the journey in a mere 3.5 hours. Naturally, such speed and exclusivity came at a premium price. Concorde tickets could cost up to 30 times the price of an economy ticket, but the experience was unparalleled. Passengers were treated to exquisite meals, such as a breakfast of fresh tropical fruits, croissants and brioche from Parisian bakeries, eggs Benedict and Gruyere soufflé, all accompanied by Piper Heidsieck Cuvée diplomatic champagne, served on fine Limoges china. However, the era of opulent airline dining and the golden age of air travel itself came to an end with the wave of deregulation that swept the industry starting in 1978. Prior to deregulation, airfares were strictly controlled, forcing airlines to compete through amenities and service rather than price. This led to the focus on luxurious meals, attentive stewardesses, spacious seating, and in-flight entertainment. Deregulation introduced price wars, which, while beneficial for consumers in terms of lower fares, also had a detrimental effect on the overall quality of air travel. Airlines, seeking to maximize profits, crammed more seats into planes, reducing legroom and comfort. Food options dwindled, and on many flights, complimentary meals disappeared altogether. Southwest Airlines, for instance, embraced its identity as the Peanut Airline, offering passengers little more than bags of peanuts as a snack. This no-frills approach, while perhaps lacking in culinary sophistication, became a symbol of affordable and efficient air travel for many, including myself. Those little bags of peanuts, especially the honey-roasted variety, evoked nostalgic memories of a simpler time in air travel. The end of the Golden Age. The dawn of the 1980s marked the definitive end of the golden age of air travel, particularly for economy class passengers. While airlines continue to invest in premium dining experiences for business and first-class travelers, often collaborating with renowned chefs to create gourmet menus, the days of elaborate meals and attentive service in economy class are largely a relic of the past. Personally, I've embraced this shift. I prefer the affordability of modern air travel and am content to purchase a delicious, albeit overpriced, sandwich at the airport to enjoy during my flight. Now let's prepare the Heavenly Delight Salad, a dish that blurs the lines between salad and dessert. It starts with 4 tart apples, diced into small pieces, then combined with 32 mini marshmallows and 8 quartered maraschino cherries. I've opted to make a half portion, as the original recipe yields a generous amount. In a separate bowl, we'll whip a cup of heavy cream into a cloud-like consistency. To this, we'll add a teaspoon of lemon juice, a teaspoon and a half of mayonnaise, and a teaspoon and a half of honey, creating a unique and tangy dressing. This dressing is then gently folded into the apple mixture, and our heavenly delight is ready to be enjoyed. And here it is, a complete meal, fit for a United Airlines flight during the golden age of air travel. I'm particularly excited about the vintage tray I'll be using for this meal. It's from the early 1960s and features charming details like miniature salt and pepper shakers and, of course, the iconic plastic cutlery of the era. So what do you think? Would you trade your bag of pretzels for a 1950s airline meal? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to check out other videos in this series. And don't forget to subscribe and share this delicious adventure with fellow history buffs and food enthusiasts. As always, thanks for flying with us on this trip down memory lane.